Hello friends, welcome to the session on compilers. In this session, we'll be discussing about intermediate code. In this session, we will see what we mean by an intermediate code, what are the different types of intermediate code, and we will see in detail how the postfix notation is being evaluated. Friends, as you know that you are viewing this session on my YouTube channel, Learn with Prakash Kanade, and subscribe to the channel to see many videos on the subjects of electronics and computer science. So let us start the session with the question what we mean by an intermediate code. Now we know that whenever we feed the source program to the compiler, then the compiler will convert the input source program into the target program. But we know that there are different phases of compilation. There are different steps that are being carried out by the compiler in order to achieve this process. Intermediate code, or sometimes we say it as an intermediate representation, IR, it is a code that is neither a source code nor a target code. To the input of the compiler, we will supply the source code that is being written in a high level language. And at the output, we will get a code that is being called as a target code. Intermediate code is in between to that of source code and the target code. And that is the reason this code is being called as an intermediate code. Intermediate code or IR is being generated by the compiler after the lexical and syntax analysis. So once the compiler performs the lexical analysis and the syntax analysis, then during the compilation process, an intermediate code is being generated. As shown in this diagram, when the source program is connected to the lexical analyzer, then at the output, we will get a sequence of tokens. This sequence of tokens is connected to the syntax analyzer or parser program. At the output of the parser program, we will obtain a syntax tree from which it is possible that we can obtain the intermediate code. And there are different forms of intermediate code, such as 3-address code. So intermediate code generation will come into the picture after the syntax analysis. Intermediate code is generated by the compiler, and it is very an essential phase of the compilation, because once the intermediate code is generated, then it is possible that the compiler can apply optimization techniques to the code. If the compiler generates directly the target code, then it may not be possible for the compiler to apply optimization techniques. And therefore, in order to be able to apply the optimization, it is necessary to generate an intermediate code. Compiler will generate an intermediate code, and this intermediate representation is machine independent. And since it is machine independent, it will facilitate retargeting the compiler to another program. So this is another objective that is being achieved when the intermediate code or intermediate representation is generated by the compiler. Now we will go for what are the different types of intermediate code, or what are the different types of intermediate representation. A compiler normally will generate three types of intermediate representation. The first type is being called as a structural representation. In the structural representation, you can say that it is a graphically oriented representation, which is much larger in the size. And normally such type of the representation is used in source to source compiler. That is, whenever the compiler converts one high level language program into another high level language program, then in such compiler, such structural representation is being used. Say for example, when the parse tree is being generated, or the syntax tree is being generated, or the directed cyclic graphs are generated as an intermediate code, then you can say that these intermediate codes are the structural representations. Another type of the intermediate code is being called as a linear code, where we can obtain a pseudo code for an abstract machine. And this code, one can easily find that it is very simple and easy to manage. Say for example, when a 3-address code or a postfix notation is being generated as an intermediate code, then that can be called as a linear code. So one can say that the linear code is the linear representation of the structural code. The stack machine code is also another type of the linear code. The third type of the intermediate representation that can be generated by the compiler is a hybrid code, where one can easily understand it is a combination of graph and linear code. Say, for example, when the control flow graphs are generated as an intermediate code in the compiler, then you can say that this is a hybrid code because it is a combination of structural representation and linear code. Now we will go for the discussion of the parse tree and syntax tree. So as far as this session is concerned, we will be discussing about the parse tree, syntax tree, and the postfix notation. So initially we will go for what we mean by the parse tree and the syntax tree. Both parse tree and syntax tree are the structural intermediate representation. So you can say that the parse tree is a hierarchical structure that represents the derivation of the grammar for the input string, while the syntax tree is a way of representing the syntax of the programming language as the hierarchical tree structure. So both are the structural representation, but there is a difference between the parse tree and the syntax tree. The parse tree will give a kind of derivation of the grammar for the input string, while the syntax tree will represent the concrete structure. In the parse tree, the interior nodes can be the non-terminal symbols of the grammar, and the leaves are the terminal symbols. While in case of syntax tree, the nodes are the computations, or you can say that the operators are the nodes and the leaves are the operands. In parse tree, one can easily find that it may contain some unusable information. Say, for example, when we are making the use of non-terminal symbols of the grammar in the parse tree, then that is of no use. So it may contain some unusable information, while the syntax tree will always contain the meaningful information. The parse tree, one can say that it will represent the concrete syntax of the program, while the syntax tree will represent the abstract syntax of the program. So one can easily understand the difference between the parse tree and the syntax tree with suitable example. Suppose we have been given a grammar where the expression E is defined as E star E or E plus E or ID. And suppose our input string is A plus B star C. Then in such a case, we can construct the parse tree such as we can start with the start symbol E. Then we know that E can be defined as E plus E, where E can be further derived by ID. Then E can be further derived as E star E, where E can be derived by ID, and this E can also be derived by ID. So we can go to the input string, and such tree structure construction is being called as a parse tree. So in this parse tree, one can easily understand that we have a non-terminal symbol as the node for the tree structure, while we can construct the syntax tree as shown in this example. Suppose we have the same grammar, E is defined as E star E, E plus E or ID. Then the syntax tree can be constructed for the input string A plus B star C as plus ID, star ID and ID, where the first ID will be for A, the second ID will be for B, and the third ID will be for C. So one can easily understand the difference between the parse tree and syntax tree, where in syntax tree you can find that each node will represent the computation or operation to be performed. Another intermediate representation that is being very commonly used is called as the postfix notation. If the given programming language consists of expressions, then these expressions can be represented by an intermediate code, and this intermediate code is being called as the postfix notation. So one can say that the postfix notation is just nothing but the linear representation of the syntax tree. So syntax tree is a structural structure, and if you want to represent in linear form, then the postfix notation is the best way to represent the syntax tree. Postfix notation many times is being called as a suffix notation, or sometimes we call it as a reverse Polish notation. In the postfix notation, any expression that can be written unambiguously and without any parentheses. So even if our input string consists of parentheses or brackets, it is possible to remove all such brackets in the postfix notation. The ordinary expression that we write in a programming language, that is being called as an infix notation. So whenever we want to write the sum of x and y with an operator plus, then we can write it as x plus y. So this plus is an operator which is a binary operator, and x and y are the two operands on which this operator is being operated. So writing of such expression is being called as an infix notation. But in postfix notation, we place the operator at the right hand side after the operands. So whenever we want to write the same expression, then the same expression can be written as x, y, followed by the plus sign. In postfix notation, the operator will follow the operand. So operands are written first, and then we will write the operator symbol. Say, for example, we have been given an expression A is assigned with B star minus C plus B star minus C. So this is the infix form of the expression. Now it is possible that we can construct the syntax tree for this expression, and the syntax tree will look like as shown in this figure. So the assignment operator will come over here. Its first argument will be A, the second argument will be the plus operator. The plus operator will have the arguments star and star. The first star will have the arguments or operands B and unary minus. So this minus C, minus is being represented by unary minus. And then this star will also have the operands B and unary minus, where unary minus will have the leaf C, and this unary minus will also have the leaf C. So one can easily observe that this will be the syntax tree for this given infix form of the expression. And now whenever we want to write this syntax tree, then it is possible that this syntax tree can be represented by a postfix notation. So postfix notation for this syntax tree can be written as A, B, C, unary minus, star, B, C, unary minus, star, followed by plus, followed by assignment operator. So as I told you, in the postfix form of the notation, the operator is to be written after the operand. So this unary minus operator will be applied to the C, and this star will be applied to B star minus C. And then this unary minus will be applied to the C, and this star will be applied to B star minus C. And this plus sign or plus operator will be applied to B star minus C plus B star minus C. And this assignment is applied to A equal to B star minus C plus B star minus C. Now let us go for how the postfix notation can be evaluated. Now suppose we have been given an input string or an expression A plus B star C minus D. Now it is possible that we can write this expression in the postfix form A followed by B, C star plus D followed by minus sign. And we will assume that the value of A is equal to 4, B is equal to 3, C is equal to D 2, and D is equal to 5. So our input string will consist of 4, 3, 2 star plus 5 followed by minus sign. So one can easily understand that 4 plus 3 into 2, that is 6. 6 plus 4 will be 10. 10 minus 5 will be 5. So when this postfix notation will be evaluated, we must get a value of 5. Now, as far as the evaluation or implementation of the postfix notation is concerned, what we need is a stack memory, and we will need the different actions or operations, and we will need an operator or an operand. So suppose the first symbol is 4, then we will perform an action of push where the number 4 will be pushed onto the stack. The second symbol is 3, we will perform an action push where the number 3 will be pushed onto the stack. Then the next is 2, where we will perform the push action where the number 2 will be pushed onto the stack. Then there is an operator star, that is we need to multiply the top of the stack, the top 2 symbols of the stack, and therefore we will pop off 2 and 3 from the stack. We will perform the multiplication, and then we will push the symbol 6 onto the stack. Then the next operation is plus, and therefore we will pop off 4 and 6 from the top of the stack. We will perform the addition, and then the result 10 will be pushed onto the stack. Then the next symbol is 5, where we will perform the push action, where the number 5 will be pushed onto the stack. Then the next symbol is subtraction, where we will pop off 10 and 5, and we will perform the subtraction operation, and then we will push the result 5 onto the stack. So through this example, one can easily understand, by making the use of the stack memory, we can easily implement the postfix notation. So thank you, friends, for viewing the session. Hopefully you have understood what we mean by an intermediate code and how this intermediate code can be implemented. Thank you all for viewing the session.